Alright, the French M1886 rifle with the M93 modification, which I believe they changed the bolt around on this original gun. So this gun was reworked from its original design. And I believe I got a stacking swivel missing on it. But this gun was the first military weapon adopted that was a small caliber smokeless powder rifle. And this thing, when it came out, started more or less an arms race for small bore smokeless powder rifles, and every country started to develop their own. Smokeless powder was something the French developed first. The Austrians had semi-smokeless, and then it was on, guys. So this is an interesting rifle. These were used primarily in World War I, but I've heard that you can find these. They found some in Desert Storm in Iraq in the 2003 or something. So they're around. They're still being used. Kind of a testament to the robustness of the gun. So there we go. And then I just noticed there's some sort of trench art on this stock. Now this one, supposedly it's matching. I believe the serial numbers on this gun are matching to the receiver. Here we go with our bolt. And our markings here, I believe the 1890 was when it was built. A couple other little proof marks there. Good look at the rear sight system here. And one barrel band, and this is another 8-shot tube magazine, very similar to the German 1871-84. Okay, we'll take a look at it from the other side. Okay, there we can get a fairly good look at the receiver markings. Some more proofs, serial numbers and that. Like I said, I believe there's some more very faint, some sort of scribblings or whatever on the stock, some sort of trench art. But this is one to have in your collection as a milestone. First small bore smokeless powder repeating rifle or magazine rifle. So I'll get the camera set up and we'll take a look at the bolt and how this one works with its magazine system. A little bit different than the German rifle. Okay, so let's go over how the rifle functions. There was some modifications to the bolt. I don't know exactly. That is what the M93 is. They changed some things with the bolt and kind of redesigned it. This button here is your magazine selector, be it single shot or the magazine cutoff, should I say. So there it is in single shot mode. And then this, you do not have to have the bolt open, much like the see if you can, yep, you don't have to have the bolt open like the Mauser 7184. And then, as you see, very similar. You got your lift plate, floor plate, whatever, that when you give it a tug, goes up, and then, you know, there'd be another cartridge there, and up it goes. This magazine style of design was developed by Kropatschek, who was I guess a military officer, and designed this tubular magazine, which was used on this rifle, the Kropatschek itself, and the Mauser 7184. And there may be some others, but it was a popular design. And again, the shortcomings of this gun was when they developed the smokeless powder, okay, all they did was take the 11 millimeter Gras round, shorten it, neck it down to 8 millimeter, shorten it enough to fill it with smokeless powder, and that's how they come up with the cartridge. Why the French did this is because it's the same thing that the Austrians did with the Kropatschek gun. They took the larger black powder cartridge and kind of shortened it, necked it down to 8 millimeter, and the Austrians had semi-smokeless powder. But that's how these magazine systems work. And as we all know later on, they developed different cartridges in different systems. But there were several guns from this period of time that used this very similar magazine system in it. So there you go. Now let me get into talking a little bit about these rifles. Now these rifles were primarily designed prior to World War I. You know, like the date on the gun says 1886 or whatever. So by World War I they were pretty much obsolete, and the French did start developing the 8 millimeter Berthier bolt-action rifles, and because of political and financial reasons and what they knew war was approaching, they never really did, kind of like the Italians, get a modern style gun. They were working on it in the 20s and the 30s, but they never got it into production. And these guns ended up, they were used throughout World War I. And then, like I said, when they thought about modernizing again, between the wars, they were pressed into service once more in World War II, okay? Not as a frontline weapon. Well, France was defeated fairly swiftly in the war. They did modify these. They shortened these. I forget the model designation, but there is a short version of these that was done in between the war periods and was issued like as a colonial mounted carbine or something. And those do pop up quite frequently, more frequently than these. And the thing is, it was a fairly common gun. You used to find them from time to time. Like when I purchased this one, it just popped up on a gunbroker auction from a retail store, and they had it. And at the time, again, like I said, I thought I paid a little too much. I wanted it. It was in good shape and it has a nice bore. Okay, so I needed another gun to test ammo with a decent bore in it. But I did pay less than $1,000 for it. Okay. Now you can't touch one of these in any condition, and even the ones Royal Tiger sells that are pretty much junk. These things have become a very high demand. I don't know if it was the anniversary of World War I. A lot of people say that these guns are featured on a lot of online games that people play, and this is how they get notoriety, and then the demand for these older weapons goes up in the milsurplus market. But it is an interesting gun. It is a key pivotal piece in the history and development of military rifles. So that's kind of another reason why I want to get this in my collection, and that. But that's the story on this one. I did make videos about this. I don't know if there was a disassembly one or not. Whether or not I will revise all that and maybe do some disassembly videos, I'm not quite sure. But that's where we are. That's where we stand with this one. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and hit the like button, subscribe, and stay tuned.